things like that.
But is it anything to do with willpower rather than resignation?
It must be, see. It must be. But when I come to this country and I worked in the pit for a while.
Yes, I'm going to we'll wait until, because I want to ask you quite a lot, if you bear with me.
Oh, yes.
But
yes.
so were you all the time, when you were at 2 months wandering around your area, did you know what you were going to do? Did you have a plan? For about a week, fortnight, we didn't know nothing at all. And then after we got a message through women, that Archbishop in Ljubljana got a message that they stopped sending them back, and then the rest of them are in Austria. That was the first message we had there, and it was in a way like relief. We can go back. That was in the mind straight away. We didn't know how. And then in about 3 weeks after, a fellow called, one who escaped, called from Italy on the block, come to there to get the brother. One of the brother which we knew, right? So we heard of that. And then in a way, my relief was straight away, I said, Vinko, we can go to Italy because I know that area. I know exactly where we could go, almost to the detail, all the way to the border. Yeah, how did you know that area so well?
Because I told you, when Italians occupied that area, I went with the horses across there to sell them to Italy. Friends there, and then I bought a horse, and then I took it over there and sold it for dearer. It was, you had to go over the old border, Yugoslav border, in order to sell the horse and things like that. And it was useful then. And the same again, when we were going back there, I went on the tree, because we were not quite sure where we were. And then you see further, see? And we were in the Javornik area, which is pretty forest, it's forest about 20 miles wide and then probably 50 miles long. And we had to cross it again. And we done it during the day. We didn't see anybody, we didn't see not one partisan until we come to the border, whole journey going back, until we come to the border. We see them from the hill down on there. In the night, in the day we seen them, and in the night we went across.
And was it not heavily guarded in the night?
They were on the roads and on the stations and but not in forest. Not in forest, because that time was straight after there was not really any border. There was any wire or anything like that. But it didn't matter. If we come to the wire, we would cut it. He still had that machine gun with him, not machine gun, the Tommy gun with him. And we were in a way safe. And if anything happened, we start shooting and we'll escape.
That must have been quite a feeling when did you know when you were in Italy?
And then when we come to Italy, to Opcine, first there, and the first thing he done, we come to Italian border, he put that gun somewhere in certain, he said, there is the house, we'll come back one day and pick it up. And we come back, I don't know, 20 years after, but it wasn't there. Somebody took. And then so happened that he was also, Vinko, Italians had taken him. Did you hear about Raab and when Mussolini took so many of our people there? Yes? He was in the prison there, like in the camp. Mussolini took him in the prison there, and he learned Italian. And when we come to Trieste, it was very useful. He done all the talking, he knew all that area again. And we had those liras in the pocket, 10,000 lira each or something like that. And the train from Trieste to Udine was 22 liras. He said, we are not going to report in Trieste here. He said, it's too near the border, we don't know what will happen. And then I said, all right, let's me buy, we were there probably a day walking in the town. Let's me buy a pair of shoes because I was so bad. And then we went on the station, caught the train and went to Udine. And when we come to Udine, we tried to report that we escaped. To report to English, and they didn't want to know. Nobody wants to know. Be an anti-communist and this and that, and they didn't want to know. So he said, I think it was a sergeant or something like that. He said, all right now. And he was a Polish captain, because the Polish army was there. Polish army, and was a captain there. And we see that Polish captain, Vinko, and we tell him. And he said, as long as you are anti-communist, you're okay. But if you're communist, I will shoot you. And we told him about that, and everything settled straight away and sent us down the camp. And then after then, I went to Austria, on the block, there, to Austria, because my father was there. And when I come to Austria, I mustn't tell that I came from Italy, because English would put me to prison. I crossed the border. No? So I said I come from Yugoslavia. And I was there for a while, and I went back to Italy, and eventually I come, but probably it will be another story, isn't it?
Yes, but I was wondering, when did you hear about what had happened to those Yugoslavs you should have been with, who were taken back?
We didn't really hear concretely for a long time, you know what I mean. Things have started filtering through after when I was in Austria, 4, 5, 6 months. We didn't hear much in those 2 months where we were in Yugoslavia. We suspected, because nobody is nowhere. They didn't come home. They didn't. My girlfriend, the one who was there, she was freed. They freed her. And my cousin, they didn't come home. Was also the girl and didn't come home. And she was the girlfriend of that Vinko. And they shoot her only because she was his girlfriend. And so on and so on. We didn't really know a lot of things there. And then when we come to Austria, I didn't get in touch with my mother for years. I didn't write any letters, not for years, say for 12 months at least, but my father did write to her, and she did. It was pretty normal after about 4 or 5 months, so that we know what happened, approximately. But, all the news were suppressed, really. No? We didn't know. They were always hoping that the sons will still come back. My mother said, Nero will come home, he's still alive somewhere, and this and that. And they were hoping that for probably months and years, maybe, And eventually they made, on the cemetery, they made a mark for him as well, Never come back. And we still don't know where he is, and he's in Kochilja then. And then other one, which it was in Buchenwald, they heard after, my brother was telling me, also about 12 months after, somebody was near him, in the same camp, and he came home, from Slovenia, somewhere else, and he found eventually them, and he was explaining them. He died. He was younger. He was the third one. I was 23, 24. He was only about, when they took him in, Mussolini took him in, the same as that Vinko, he was only about 15, 16. And it was all to do with some women again, and then the woman, she wanted him to love her, and she said, all right, if you don't do, and she went to Italians, and she said that he had a gun, and they took him in. All because things like that. Absolutely innocent. Terrible. And he wasn't living that moment at home. He was in some other village working. And we never seen him. And he died. That was really more cruel than anything else, because a young boy of 15, he died of starvation. He was starving. It was 1942 when they took him in. 42, 43, 44, 45, March or April he died, or maybe February. That means he was starving for 4 years to die. Young boy of 15. Whenever I remember, and so innocent, he didn't do nothing. Whenever I think to myself, I feel most sorry for him, because it was absolutely 5 years agony, starving. Other brother, of course, they killed him and he died. If it lasted 1 day, it's nothing. It is really terrible.
Yes, and few of us know what starving's like. You probably had a taste of it when you were on the run.
So happened that I was still very lucky. I didn't smoke. And then I somehow, very often we had some cigarettes, and I always changed them for food. And then I was hungry 3 or 4 times, 3 times 7 days each time. But it was only 7 days. When I was shot in hospital, I didn't have any food at all for 7 days. That's the only way I survived. Practically 90% of them died. But I was so determined to do exactly as they say. And I remember I was shot on the 6th of December. They brought me to hospital at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he operated. A German bloke operated on me. And when I was recovering, he said that I only survived because I got extremely good heart. And then the first meal I had, which I ate, was on Christmas Eve. 6th of December to Christmas Eve.